have Bryce back on the show. He is a big supporter of the BREV program, and he's also, more importantly, probably a wealth of information. He really is our insurance go-to guy, and so we're super excited to have him. If you didn't watch the last show, Bryce Palmer is part of Armed Forces Insurance. Armed Forces Insurance has been around over 100 years, and they're kind of I won't say unknown secret, but they're not known to all the veterans out there, because the veterans tend to go to, USAA. But I will tell you, Armed Forces Insurance has been over 100 years, and they really have some super rates and great policies, and it's worth getting a quote. I'll tell you, every veteran is loyal to USAA, but when it comes to insurance, go to Armed Forces Insurance and give them a shot at it, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, I'm a USAA member, and none of my insurance is with them, and so I'll just put it at that for now. But so we are super glad to have you on the show, Bryce. Great to have you back, and let's jump into this thing, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate coming on with you and talking a little shop here.
All right, super deal. So, if you want to just give the listeners just a quick overview on Armed Forces Insurance, just kind of get that information out there.
Yeah, absolutely. You did a pretty good job of it, but yeah, we've been around 136 years, a little over 136 years actually. We started out of Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and have expanded from, initially back then serving Army officers to working with all military, current military, all veterans, all branches of service, DoD employees. Our membership includes VA employees as well. So we've really expanded our membership to help really anybody who has served, is serving, or is working in those spaces that are serving our military members. We work to provide personal insurance services for them, like home, auto, and other products.
Nice. Well, we appreciate that. One thing I would like to jump into, because a lot of listeners don't understand the effect that inflation has had on insurance. But man, in insurance has gotten much more expensive. And so I want to talk about that, and then I know you'll bring it up, but I want to talk a little bit about, price is not the determination of the best policy, even though one may be a little cheaper than the other. So I don't want to forget to talk about that, but man, tell us what's going on in the insurance world, man. It's gotten expensive out there.
It has. One, I'll touch on inflation real quick. We've all seen the price increases, whether it be in eggs, butter, milk, or your car insurance renewal or home insurance renewal that just came in. Cost of materials, cost of everything has gone up. The cost to just do business has increased. So it is putting a lot of pressure on the insurance industry. I myself get those same up. I don't have a magic formula to avoid those other than keep your driving history clean. But we're seeing it across the board with all companies. So I'm going to kind of defend, the industry a little bit. Was their prices and cost goes up, unfortunately, they have to pass that on to consumers, and it's just the way it is. So part of it's inflation, and I will touch real quick. Part of it has to do with, there's two factors that are really pushing it as well, which is wildfires. California, any of you who are listening on California, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people I saw somebody go from 20, this wasn't with our company, but with another, 2,500 to 4,500 in a year on their home insurance. And my answer to them when they asked me about it was, well, honestly, be thankful. I hate to say this, but be thankful you have insurance, because a lot of people are just getting canceled. Right. California is a rough market with fires, and then wind and hail in states like Colorado, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. Hail claims are wreaking havoc on roof repairs, and companies are drastically trying to catch up with that on the rate side. So that's a lot of the reason you're seeing home insurance rates go up.
Okay, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And we deal with a lot of buyers, and listen, cost is important to everybody. Controlling your expenses is super important to everybody. We get that, and homeowners insurance plays an important part in your in your house payment. So we get all that, but man, I just caution the listeners that the cheapest policy isn't usually, nor is it rarely, is it ever the best policy. So just look beyond price. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what kind of things should they be looking at just beyond, one policy is 2,600, one's 2,400. Boom, I want 2,400. What are some of the things they should look at that besides just price?
I think that's a great point. The first thing you should look at when you get a quote is what's the deductible. A lot of times someone will go online. I'd shop this every now and then just to see, and I'll get a great price back. And then I'll look and the deductible that they're quoting me is over $2,500 for a claim. So you might be looking at a $5,000 deductible. And the question you got to ask yourself is if I had a fire, a theft, or a loss, can I write a check for $5,000? Or do I want to write a check for $5,000? I know I don't.
Right.
So it's a matter of make sure that deductible is something that you can afford to do if a loss happens, that you're not going to, it's not going to hurt you because you are going to have a lot of expense out there that you're waiting on reimbursement from the insurance company.
Right.
That'd be the first thing. Other things are important endorsements. And one of the most important endorsement is make sure your policy has replacement cost. And that is both on the home and on your personal property that's inside the home. If you have an actual cash value policy where you get a depreciated amount for your home goods,
right,
you want to replace your refrigerator. You don't want to get $400 for it. It just nobody wants that. That
right.
adds to your out of pocket. And then I think the final thing I'll touch on is make sure your home's not overinsured either. I think that's an important one. There's a lot of calculators out there that factor home insurance in, and this can help bring your costs down a little bit too. So this kind of gets into the prices can go up, prices can go down.
Right.
But make sure that you got the right home estimate or rebuild estimate on your home. It's not what you bought the home for. Right. It's not what Zillow says your home is valued at. It's what it costs to rebuild the house, and that can have a big impact on your cost of it.
Right. And those are all great points, and we often see the overvaluation of a home because the market value is not necessarily the rebuild cost of your house. So people get that confused, especially in today's market where we have markets where market values are still on the very high side.
Yeah, there's very few states. I can think of a couple, a small handful that the market or the rebuild value is more than the market value. In most cases, you're buying a home for much more than it would cost to rebuild. That's most markets.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd like to share with the listeners is that when they get in touch and they get a quote from Armed Forces Insurance, that talk to them a little bit about how you shop the market and you're looking for the best policy. It's not just a policy that your company owns, because some companies do that. They try to keep all their they're insured in their own umbrella policies, their own in-house policies. But you guys go out to the whole market.
We do. So we have our own product, our own company, Armed Forces Insurance. It's our own what they call in the industry, it's our own paper. We write it, we underwrite it, we pay claims on it.
Right.
I feel it's a great product, but we also work in the best interests of our members to try and find them the best deals. So we have national carriers that we work with, national partner carriers that we're going to go up and we're going to shop our own policy against those. And if they fall in line, if one of our national carriers has a better deal, our agents are going to discuss the differences and take the member in the right direction, take them in the direction they want to go, that the coverages are right, the price is right. And if that ends up with one of our national carriers, we're fine with that. We service those policies. We take billing on those. We handle everything but the claims on those policies. So we try to keep it as a seamless transition where you work with us for everything and then we get you the appropriate place when needed.
Yeah. And I can't tell the listeners more that is not all that common in the industry. And so, having somebody that's working in your corner to go out and shop the industry, it's not happening every time you get a quote. Trust me. So you really need to reach out to Armed Forces Insurance, get a quote, see what they can do for you. But at least then you're going to know that not only have they looked at what they've got in-house, but they've also looked across the industry And at that point, you have a pretty good benchmark of kind of what your policy is going to cost. And if you get something super lower than that, I'd be very, very suspect of, things that Bryce talked about,
Yeah.
the coverage amount, the deductible. I mean, it doesn't do any good to have a $10,000 deductible.
No.
The only reason you have insurance then is to make the lender happy.
Yep.
You're never going to get a check. And so check all that out. I think that's super important. The other thing I'd like to put out is, how do you get in touch with Bryce? How do you get in touch with this company? And so just go to www.afi.org/VREV. There's a great landing page, quick information, fill it out, and then an agent will get in touch with you. Unfortunately, it probably won't be Bryce, busy man doing a lot of stuff, but it's going to be someone who's knowledgeable, knows the industry, and will take great care of you. And so we're super excited to have you guys part of the VREV program. And I will tell you, we get a lot of feedback from our buyers, a lot of great reviews, and a lot of them are very, very happy with the policy they got, and allows them to get into that, right house payment, that sweet spot that either makes the lender happy or makes them happy. So we're really glad to have you guys on board, man.
No, we love being a part of it. The buyers that come to us are motivated. They're wanting a house, and the nice thing too that we try to do for them as part of our relationship is that once we get something locked in, we try to make the insurance the easiest thing that they do, because we get a lot of new home buyers.
Yeah.
I was a new home buyer once myself, never had, I should say first time home buyer, not new, but first time home buyer.
Yeah.
And there is so much coming at you in that process from every angle.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to make that seamless and work with your lender that you're working with to just get them all the information that they need. So it's just one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah. And it shows through on the reviews. And just for those listeners, Veterans Real Estate Benefits Network, you can find us at vrevnetwork.com. But when you work with one of our agents, first of all, our agents are some of the top in the industry. So they've worked with first-time home buyers, and they understand veterans. They're veteran certified agents. They understand VA loans. They're going to walk you through the process. And we at VREV are going to assign you an account manager, and that account manager is going to stay with you through the process. Because like Bryce said, there's a lot of stress. It is an emotional process when you buy your first house. I'm a real estate broker. I've sold hundreds and hundreds of houses personally. I've worked with first-time home buyers, and they've called me in the middle of the night crying. They literally act like they're getting a divorce over it. They're fighting with each other. It is an emotional process, and people deal with that stuff differently. Not everybody's a steely-eyed killer. Infantry guy that'll be like, no, everything's fine. Most of them are just going through an emotional process. So let us help you. Let us get you a top agent. Let us assign an account manager, but let us connect you with armed forces insurance, because insurance is part of the stress. You're trying to get the right policy, trying to get the right premium. You're trying to make everything affordable. So, working together, we really try to do that for the veterans.
Absolutely.
So, Bryce, hey, I appreciate you being on the show. I know you're a busy man. I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I appreciate you carving some time out of your schedule, and we look forward to work with you in the future. We'd love to have you back on the show. There's so much to deal with insurance. We didn't even talk about flood insurance, but unfortunately, we're going to have to, and we'll come back and talk about flood insurance in the future, man.
Yeah, a lot of changes there. Be happy to love to come back on. I always appreciate the opportunity to jump on and give a few minutes of talk on insurance. It's not the most exciting topic in the world, but everybody needs it. So
yeah. So it's not something you think about until you actually need it.
Yep.
But when you need it, you want a good policy that has good service, that takes good care of you. Quick story, and then I'll end this up. Is my next door neighbor, a single guy, older guy, and he's all about saving the buck. He does okay, but he's all about saving the buck, and that's fine. I really respect that. But he came up with this fly-by-night insurance company that, he came over, he showed me the policy, and it was like a third a month. Just, and he's got this smoker voice. You need to switch over, man. It's a great deal. I said, I think I'm good where I'm at, And so we had a storm. His house got flooded, and he literally took a year and a half to get a check from the insurance company. And then it was smaller. He had to get an attorney involved. I mean, it was just an absolute mess. He finally sold the house. Didn't deal with it anymore. And I didn't have the nerve to go back to him and say, hey, how'd that insurance company work out? Because he had gone through so much. I didn't want to be the jerk next door. But that's just an example of, listen, all insurance companies are not the same. When you need them in your corner. So we're glad to have you in our corner. Appreciate everything that you do for veterans, bro.
Nope, appreciate you as well and everything you do. So thank you, and thanks for having me.
Everybody have a great week.
All right, thank you. You too.